Let's be honest, most men completely misunderstand what a hug from a woman really means. You think you know intimacy, but most of the time, a simple embrace carries a signal that your brain refuses to read. You've been conditioned to think that touch is casual or worse, meaningless. But here's the truth. The way she wraps her arms around you, the pressure she uses, the subtle way her body leans into your sits, a language most men ignore. And when you miss it, you miss the chance to know if she's truly drawn to you. If there's a spark, she's too shy to voice. A hug isn't just about comfort, it's a psychological test. Women do not give this kind of touch casually. A woman who is attracted to you will hug in a way that leaves a subtle imprint on your nervous system. Her body tells you something her words never could. A short, perfunctory hug, that's polite. A hug that lingers, that presses just enough to make you notice, that curls around your upper back and holds your attention. That's a sign that she's evaluating you, that she's deciding if she wants to let her guard down further. Pay attention to the way her hands move. Do they just rest gently on your shoulders, or do they slide subtly down your back, testing your reaction? That is not casual. That is a woman saying, I want to know what it feels like to be close to you without admitting it aloud. Her eyes will often betray her intentions, brief glances, pupils slightly dilated, that little uptick of a smile at the corner of her lips. These micro expressions are harder to fake than words. A hug is her theater of honesty. And notice the timing. Does she hug you in public where anyone could see? Or only when it's just the two of you? A public hug can be friendly, but a private embrace, especially one that lingers longer than social convention, demands this intimate. It's an unspoken test of chemistry, of comfort, of emotional attraction. She's feeling you out. She's weighing whether your presence excites her or merely calms her. Men often misread this. You think it's warmth or politeness, when in fact it's the beginning of an attraction blueprint she's laying out without saying a word. Another subtle sign, the squeeze. Not the soft 1-second press, but the gentle, intentional pressure. It's a rhythm. Women unconsciously communicate desire and comfort. This way, when a hug feels slightly electrifying, leaving a small buzz in your chest, she's signaling your compatibility at a level deeper than conversation. And here's the kick: men dismiss it as coincidence, brushing off what their own instincts scream at them. This isn't manipulation. It's biology. It's psychology. The hug is a dance where every millimeter of closeness matters. If you've ever felt a tingle, a spark, or a sudden awareness during a hug from a woman, that is attraction speaking in its purest form, but only if you recognize it. Most men don't, because society trains us to overthink words and underread bodies. Now, I want you to start noticing these patterns in every hug you receive. Don't ask, don't test, just observe. Because the moment you learn to interpret her touch, you step into a world of signals most men can't even see. You'll know her interest before she ever says a word, and that knowledge is power. Not all hugs are created equal, and the way she hugs, you can reveal more about her feelings than any text, any compliment, or even her words when she's nervous. There are hugs designed to test, hugs meant to comfort, and then there are the ones that tell you she's undeniably attracted to you. Most men can't distinguish the difference because they're trapped in surface-level thinking, mistaking politeness for interest and friendliness for desire. But if you pay attention, you'll notice patterns, a pattern that separates casual touch from magnetic attraction. A long hug is the first sign. When she doesn't just pat your back and let go, but instead lingers, even for a heartbeat longer than social norms require, that's her signaling comfort and curiosity. Women instinctively know that holding you close increases intimacy. Her body is measuring yours, matching its rhythm to yours, testing if there's a natural alignment. That pause when she doesn't pull away immediately isn't awkward. It's deliberate. Her subconscious is trying to feel the chemistry between you before her conscious mind admits it. Then there's the lean-in hug. Her chest presses lightly against yours. Her head tilts slightly. and her body leans into yours as if she doesn't want to let the moment end. That subtle forward motion is a powerful signal. It's a subconscious invitation. She's giving you a taste of closeness, and if you respond correctly without overthinking, it can deepen her interest exponentially. Men often overlook this, brushing it off as casual warmth. But the truth is, this kind of hug is rarely given to someone she doesn't see as a potential emotional or physical partner. Next, observe the hands. Where they rest, how they move, and the pressure they apply can tell you everything you need to know. Hands that drift from shoulders to the middle of your back or even subtly linger on your lower back are testing boundaries. They're asking without words if she can feel safe and connected with you. Hands that are firm but gentle indicate desire and confidence. Hesitant light touch hands suggest caution or politeness. Most men never notice the difference because they're too busy waiting for a verbal signal instead of reading nonverbal ones. The mirror hug is another secret signal. This is when her body unconsciously mimics your posture or movements as she hugs you. If you shift slightly and she shifts in the same rhythm, if her breathing syncs to yours even for a moment, it's a subtle sign of attraction. Women naturally do this when they feel chemistry. It's instinctive, unplanned, and impossible to fake consciously for long. This synchronization is her mind telling her, I feel connected to you in a way that's more than casual. Finally, pay attention to how she ends the hug. Does she pull back slowly as if reluctant to leave? Does she maintain eye contact immediately after, or brush it off with a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes? These micro moments reveal more than hours of conversation. Attraction lives in the space between touch and release, in the pause where her body decides how much she's willing to give without saying a word. Once you learn to see these patterns, you start decoding female psychology in ways most men never even realize exist. A hug becomes more than a hug, it becomes a map to her attraction, her comfort, and her interest. And once you can read it, you're no longer guessing. You're understanding. You're seeing the signals most men ignore. Most men have no clue how to tell the difference between a hug that's purely friendly and one that screams attraction. You've probably brushed it off before thinking, she's just being nice. But here's the thing. Women unconsciously give away their interest through the smallest details of touch. And if you ignore them, you'll never know how close you were to a connection that could have changed everything. A truly attracted hug is never fleeting. It's deliberate, intentional, and calibrated. A friendly hug ends almost instantly. Just a quick shoulder pat, a polite squeeze, and she's gone. But an attracted hug lingers. Her body subtly molds to yours almost imperceptibly. Shoulders align, torsos press just enough to create a subconscious sense of safety and closeness. Her grip isn't uniform. It fluctuates, testing your response. Women are instinctively wired to measure your comfort with intimacy before they allow themselves to feel it fully. Watch her hands. In a casual hug, her hands rest lightly, barely touching. In an attracted hug, her hands move with a quiet purpose. They might trail slightly down your back, brush against your side, or subtly hold for a heartbeat longer than expected. Every movement is an unspoken question. Are you comfortable being close to me? Her body is giving permission, gauging the chemistry and leaving the door open for more. If you miss this, you'll miss the signal entirely, thinking it's just friendliness. Her head placement tells a story too. A casual hug often sees her head barely tilting towards yours, almost mechanical. An attracted hug, her cheek may brush yours, her chin may rest lightly near your shoulder, or she may tilt her head in a way that exposes vulnerability and trust. These micro moments are not planned. They are instinctive. Her body is speaking in a language most men have never been taught to understand. And when you finally notice it hits differently, the air changes. The room feels smaller. The connection feels real. And let's not forget about breathing. A friendly hug has her breathing as usual, neutral, calm, detached. But in an attracted hug, You might notice subtle shifts. Her breath may quicken or pause slightly, synced unconsciously with yours. It's biological instinctive reaction to closeness and excitement. Men rarely notice this, but it's one of the most primal signals she can give without ever saying a word. Eye contact afterwards seals the truth. A casual hug is followed by normal, polite acknowledgement. But after an attracted hug, she holds your gaze, maybe with a small smile, maybe with a nervous glance away. But there's a spark. Her eyes betray the unspoken thought. I wanted that hug more than I expected. That moment is the psychological window into her desire and curiosity, an unfiltered glimpse of what she feels but cannot fully express. The difference between a hug that's friendly and one that's filled with attraction is subtle, but it's there if you know how to see it. Every millisecond matters. Every micro movement tells a story, and every tiny pause carries intent. Most men dismiss it, thinking words are the ultimate measure of interest. They aren't. Words lie, bodies don't. Once you start paying attention to these details, you'll never misread a woman's intention again. You'll understand the hidden language of touch, the signals she can't fully hide, and the truth she's revealing without a single word. A hug is never just a hug. When attraction is involved, it's a test, a tease, and a subtle escalation rolled into one. Most men miss this entirely because they're focused on words or waiting for her to explicitly say she's interested. But her body doesn't lie. Every second she stays in your embrace, every shift in pressure, every tiny gesture is an unconscious invitation to something deeper. And if you pay attention, you'll see exactly where she stands. When a woman is attracted, her hugs become more exploratory without her realizing it. Her hands might move from your shoulders down your back in a slow, almost absent-minded way. That isn't just comfort, it's curiosity. She's trying to feel a connection at a level beyond words, testing how it feels to be close to you. It's subtle, yet electrifying. And most men dismiss it as coincidence, not realizing that her subconscious is guiding the interaction. Notice her chest and torso. In casual hugs, there's space, polite distance. In attracted hugs, she subtly leans in, pressing closer to you, tilting her body in a way that aligns with yours. This is not accidental. It's her body creating intimacy, increasing emotional tension, and letting her nervous system communicate desire. Men often fail to notice this because they expect overt signals like flirting or verbal hints. But the truth is that attraction is often silent, felt more than said. Her face tells the story too. A fleeting smile as she hugs you, a tilt of the head, or a softening of her eyes all indicate openness and curiosity. She's revealing vulnerability, and that vulnerability is a signal of interest. It's biology at work. When she relaxes into your arms, her body is showing that she trusts you in that moment, and trust is the foundation of attraction. Breathing changes are another clue. Subtle, shallow breaths or a quickening rhythm can indicate excitement. It's involuntary and it's impossible to fake consistently. That small shift in her breath combined with lingering closeness is her subconscious telling you that your presence excites her. Most men never notice this because they're focused on the hug as a social formality, not as a signal-rich interaction. Then there's the micro-pull. She may hesitate just slightly before letting go, her hands lingering, her body following yours if you step back. That hesitation is her mind testing boundaries, weighing whether to allow more closeness, more intimacy. Men often interpret this as uncertainty when in reality it's the exact opposite. It's attraction, curiosity, and emotional engagement all rolled into one subtle gesture. If you start to recognize these cues, you'll see patterns emerge. You'll notice which hugs carry hidden tension, which embrace lingers because she wants it to, and which moments are her subconscious telling you without a word that she's drawn to you. Most men never decode this because they expect overt signals, but attraction is quiet, subtle, and often hidden in plain sight. The moment you start reading her body accurately, the world changes. You no longer guess, you don't need words. Every hug becomes a map of her interest, and every touch becomes a window into her desire. And that understanding, that's a power most men never realize they could have. A hug is just the beginning. What happens after she lets go reveals even more than the embrace itself. Most men focus only on the moment of contact, missing the silent signals that continue once her arms release you. Her body, her energy, her subtle choices in proximity and gaze all speak volumes about attraction. And if you ignore them, you'll never understand the full story she's trying to tell. Watch how she steps back. A woman who is merely friendly will pull away immediately, give a polite smile, and shift attention elsewhere. But a woman who's attracted to you hesitates. That brief pause, her slight lean forward, or even a small glance back is her subconscious saying, "I want to stay connected a little longer." Men often interpret this hesitation as indecision, but it's actually magnetic, her way of prolonging the intimacy she feels in that moment. Her energy matters too. Does she walk away relaxed, carefree, like nothing happened? Or does she carry a spark, a subtle excitement that lingers in her posture and movements? Attraction leaves traces. It colors her gestures, her smile, the tilt of her head. She might play with her hair, adjust her clothing, or subtly glance in your direction. These micro behaviors are not conscious. They are the residue of the emotional and physical chemistry she felt during your hug. Then there's the conversation that follows. If she initiates contact shortly after letting go, even with casual words, that's a signal she wants more interaction. She's testing how you respond, gauging whether her attraction could be welcomed. A friendly woman may not engage further, but an attracted woman finds excuses to linger nearby, keeps eye contact, or subtly brushes against your presence. Every small move is an extension of the hug, continuing the unspoken dialogue her body began. Notice her smile afterward. A casual smile can be polite. An attracted smile carries warmth, hesitation, or even a playful edge. It's the same smile that lingered during the hug, now expressed consciously, but still revealing what her body already showed. Men often dismiss this as charm or friendliness, but it's far more intentional. It's her subconscious reinforcing the bond she felt when she held you close. Even her phone behavior or attention in the moments following can give clues. Does she remain present, genuinely engaged, or does she immediately retreat into distraction? Attraction keeps her mentally close even after her arms have let go. If she's still invested in your presence, you've crossed a threshold most men never notice. When you start noticing these post-hug signals, everything changes. A hug becomes more than a touch. It's an opening. Her body, energy, and behavior all continue the story in ways words never could. Most men wait for verbal confirmation, but attraction doesn't always speak, it shows. And once you understand this, you'll know her interest before she even considers saying it out loud. Recognizing attraction is only half the battle. The real power comes from knowing how to respond once you see the signs she's drawn to you. Most men freeze, overthink, or misinterpret what her hug and everything that follows actually means. But the truth is simple. Subtlety, presence, and timing are everything. You don't need to force conversation. You don't need to overplay your hand. And you certainly don't need to guess her intentions out loud. You just need to respond in a way that matches her energy. The first rule is presence. When she hugs you, let yourself fully feel it. Don't pull away immediately. Don't tense up. Don't rush. A confident man absorbs the connection, lets it linger for the perfect fraction of a second, longer than expected. That lingering presence communicates that you're engaged, that you're comfortable with intimacy, and that you can handle her energy without needing words. Men often underestimate this. It's more powerful than any compliment or verbal flirtation. Second, mirror her energy subtly. If she leans in, lean in slightly. If her hands linger, allow your hands to rest naturally in ways that match her rhythm. Mirroring is subconscious. It builds trust, attraction, and comfort faster than talking ever could. Women notice it instinctively. When done correctly, it creates a magnetic loop where her body unconsciously tells her mind, "He gets me, he matches me." This is how desire grows silently, deeply, without you ever needing to say, "I like you." Third, respect the pause. Don't feel compelled to fill silence or force the next step. A lingering glance, a gentle smile, or simply letting the moment settle builds anticipation. Women are wired to respond to tension. The space between touch and conversation becomes charged with attraction. Most men rush, either talking too much or moving too quickly, which kills the subtle chemistry she's carefully cultivating. Patience in these moments is your advantage. Finally, notice her signals after the hug. Eye contact, small smiles, playful nudges, or her willingness to stay near you. These are extensions of the hug's message. When you respond calmly, confidently, and in rhythm with her cues, you reinforce attraction rather than scare it away. Remember, the hug is only the opening. How you move afterward determines whether curiosity turns into desire. Now here's a challenge for you. Think about the last woman who hugged you in a way that left an impression. The type of hug that lingered, pressed subtly, and carried that silent spark. Multiply the intensity of her body language by your level of awareness. Then divide it by how much you actually noticed in the moment. What number do you get? That's your personal equation for understanding attraction. Write the answer in the comments below. It's not just a number. It's a reflection of how tuned in you are to her signals. If you learned something new today, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more insights into female psychology and attraction, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this truth. Because most men never see these signals. And that subtle understanding, that is the difference between being ignored and being desired.